Hi, I'm Corey.
And I'm Megan.
And in Small Time News,
this is what piqued our interest.
White County, Tennessee is being sued for practicing eugenics on criminals in their jail system.
Sheriff Odie Shoup, other members of the Sheriff's Office, and local Judge Sam Benningfield were offering birth control in the form of free implants for women and free vasectomies for men.
They were offering these items in exchange for just 30 days off their sentences. Advocacy lawyers from a pro bono office filed the lawsuit in federal court. Based on the court documents, it looks like one female inmate did get a birth control implant in exchange for a shorter sentence.
But she didn't receive that shorter sentence, and now she doesn't even have the $250 it costs to have the implant removed.
ACLU of Tennessee responded with this statement.
Offering a so-called choice between jail time and coerced contraception or sterilization is unconstitutional. Such a choice violates the fundamental constitutional right to reproductive autonomy and bodily integrity by interfering with the intimate decision of whether and when to have a child, imposing an intrusive medical procedure on individuals who are not in a position to reject it. Judges play an important role in our community. Overseeing individuals' childbearing capacity should not be part of this role.
Judge Benningfield had issued a standing order offering this particular option to anyone appearing in this court.
However, he rescinded the order just a little over 2 months later, stating that the state's Department of Health would no longer be offering the birth control.
This story is interesting, and we're sort of torn on where we stand with it. On one hand, this county's criminal activity is mostly drug-related. So it kind of makes sense that people who are committing drug-related crimes probably are not currently responsible enough to take care of children.
And there's a distinct possibility that those children will become wards of the state. They're also receiving forms of birth control that are reversible.
Which means if they get out and don't reoffend, they could have those procedures reversed and go on to have children.
However, the way this country handles criminals means that it's incredibly difficult for them to find gainful employment. This also means that the chances of them having enough money to reverse these procedures is slim.
It's worth noting that we actually feel that drug offenses that do not involve dealing shouldn't be treated as a crime, and people should instead be treated for their addiction and given the chance to reintegrate into society.
But we also don't believe that people who are addicted to drugs that haven't successfully gone through treatment and remain clean should be having children that could potentially be harmed or not well cared for because of the drug use.
So really, our opinion on this one is that we see where the county is coming from when offering this controversial deal.
But we also don't think that they went about it the right way.
It'll be interesting to see what comes out of this lawsuit. What's your opinion? Let us know in the comments down below. This one is a huge violation of basic human rights.
So in Texas, an attorney in a lawsuit regarding an incident that happened back in 2015 has released police dash cam footage showing something pretty disturbing.
Police initially pulled over Charneisha Corley, who was only 23 years old, for running a stop sign. The officers claimed to have smelled marijuana coming from the car. After searching the car and finding nothing, they called for a female officer to search Corley's person. Her attorney, Samuel Comack, says that the 11-minute footage amounts to rape by the police.
Comack says that the female officer told Corley to bend over and pull Corley's pants down and proceeded to put her hand inside of Corley's vagina.
At this point, Corley resists and is forced face down to the ground. The officer climbed on Corley's back and pinned her there until another female officer arrived.
Together, the two officers held Corley's legs apart and conducted a cavity search right there in a Texaco parking lot.
The officers claimed to have found 0.02 ounces of marijuana on her person and arrested her for possession and resisting arrest.
However, a spokesperson from the sheriff's office said that no marijuana was found during the search. The spokesperson also noted that the deputy wrote in the offense report that Corley consented to the search.
That's obviously an outright lie.
It's pretty clear that none of that could have been considered consensual, not even a little.
And in addition to the video, they charged Corley with resisting arrest.
How is it possible that she consented and resisted at the same time?
Comack released the video because the charges against the officer were dropped. Harris County prosecutors said that no one in the prosecutor's office stands by what the officers did, but that what they did wasn't a criminal act.
The idea that what happened wasn't criminal is a pretty sick joke. These officers forced this woman to the ground, held her there, and then conducted an invasive cavity search in public.
Then they lied about what they found and arrested her based on that lie. This is disgusting, and we hope she wins the civil lawsuit she has against these officers. Dreamhost, a web hosting company, is fighting against a request from the Department of Justice for the records of 1.3 million visitors to disruptj20.org. The website organized protests against the current administration.
In a blog post, Dreamhost explained that they and other web hosting services receive search warrants and requests regarding people who may have engaged in criminal activity quite often.
However, the size and nature of this request prompted Dreamhost to challenge the warrant. Dreamhost is naturally concerned that the Department of Justice is asking for the IP addresses, contact information, and photos of users who are on the platform to exercise their First Amendment rights.
Dreamhost will be appearing in court on August 24th to argue their case in front of a judge. They ask that everyone who believes that this overreach is unconstitutional contact their representatives in Congress. Dreamhost said that the reason they were fighting this is because
the internet was founded and continues to survive in the main on its democratizing ability to facilitate a free exchange of ideas. Internet users have a reasonable expectation that they will not get swept up in a criminal investigation simply by exercising their right to political speech against the government. We intend to take whatever steps are necessary to support and shield these users from what is, in our view, a very unfocused search and unlawful request for their personal information.
to be gathering information on people in massive amounts from a website that isn't linked to a terrorist organization is disgusting and infringes upon the Fourth Amendment.
This isn't the first time that people have felt that this administration has overreached in terms for collecting the personal information of its citizens. I mean, it's not like everyone has forgotten about the massive requests for voter data from all 50 states.
We must have the reasonable expectation that what we do online as it relates to perfectly legal activities, like protests, remains private.
The government should not have the right to gain the personal information of every person who accesses a website just because the website is a known hangout for people who dislike the current administration.
There's a reason why how we vote is private. If we just so happen to have some unhinged orange-skinned tyrannical president who wanted to use this information to hurt American citizens, then we should have the reasonable expectation that he can't get the information in his tiny hands.
Will you be making the call to your representatives? Do you agree with Dreamhost that this is overreach? We'd love to hear your take on this. If you find something that piques your interest that you'd like us to talk about, tell us in the comments down below.
If this video piqued your interest, hit that like button.
If you'd like to see more small-time news, hit that subscribe button.